For those of you that don't know me, I'm Tara's twin sister, Lauren, and although I might have been born first, she's always been a tough act to follow. First, I have to echo my dad's comments, and thank you all so much for being here tonight and for the unbelievable support you have given our family and Tara's Foundation. Also, I have to add to my dad's list of people we couldn't do it without, Phyllis. This event is such a reflection of who Tara was. The name alone is exactly what she stood for, making the best of it, no matter what the situation was. Instead of letting a cancer diagnosis turn her into the victim of a cruel disease, she unknowingly turned it into her catalyst for improving the world around her. In her 15-month battle with cancer, she never once said, "Why me?" or "This isn't fair," because that was just not who Tara was. Instead, she adopted the phrase, "Make the best of it," as her slogan, and then lived by that motto as she fought for her life, knowing the odds were stacked against her. She got diagnosed with one of the deadliest forms of cancer, but driven by a passion for a cure and a compassion for others, she wanted to do something to change those odds. She knew that the money she raised wouldn't make a difference in her fight, but she still wanted to help those that would come after her. Tara never realized what an inspiration she truly was. It's not surprising that Tara wanted to fight for a cure, though. She was always a fighter in the best sense of the word. When we were in 8th grade, the teachers chose who was allowed to run for student council elections. Tara wasn't selected, but knew she would be a good candidate and didn't really believe in the system of teachers deciding who could run. So she launched a campaign as a write-in candidate. And when the principal tried to tell her that they didn't allow write-ins, she simply explained that her candidacy was a constitutional right and that prohibiting her to run as a write-in was hypocritical of everything she was taught about the Constitution in his school. The short recap of that election was Tara, as seemingly the only write-in candidate ever in 8th grade, was elected by an overwhelming majority. That determined 8th grader matured into a woman that fought her cancer unbelievably hard and stayed so positive until the end. When the doctors told us there was nothing left to do but take her home, we didn't want to accept it. She'd been running errands and talking about when she got better that same day, so it didn't seem possible. He said from looking at the scans, he didn't know how she was alive, let alone functioning to the level she was. He explained that medically, he couldn't figure it out, but from knowing Tara pretty well at that point, his only explanation was that her sheer will to live, her strength, and her determination had to have been what was keeping her alive. In looking back, we think that Tara suspected that the end could be near, way before we were even willing to consider it. She never said a word or openly planned for that, though, because that's not Tara. Instead, she remained incredibly positive and happy every single day, but subtly did and said little things to each of us that it wasn't until months later we realized was her way of trying to prepare us. She made sure to tell my dad what my mom needed for Christmas. She ordered gifts that we continued receiving for weeks after she died. And the one thing that really got me was that she had picked out a birthday present for me for our 30th birthday, which was 6 weeks after she died. In her final time, Tara planned for the future of this foundation with the same love and passion she planned for us. She made sure we knew that she wanted us to continue her mission for a cure and that this foundation would be the best way to keep her alive. Some of you may see our post monthly on the 14th when we're toasting Tara. Tonight, we want to share that story with you. When there was nothing left to do to save Tara, we brought her home with hospice. At about 4:30 on the 14th, the nurse told us that she thought it would happen soon, but that it seemed like Tara was waiting for something. Christy joked that she was likely waiting for one last toast, and went and got 5 wine glasses and a bottle of wine that Tara put in the fridge for the next celebration. We toasted one last time in Tara's room, with us holding a glass to her. About 10 minutes later, Tara took her last breath. The nurse suggested we open the door to Tara's balcony, which overlooks the back bay. As we looked out the bay, we saw dolphins jumping. Tara had absolutely loved dolphins as a kid. Seeing them in the back bay in October is pretty rare, so we have to think it was her way of telling us that it would be okay and we had to keep going. It was followed by an incredible pink sunset. So now, every month, on the 14th at 5 p.m., we toast to Tara and the incredible sister and daughter we were so lucky to have. So tonight, we want you to join us in a toast to Tara. Here's to you, T.